I can't believe I'm telling this story. Hey guys, welcome back. This is Pounds to Miles. If you're new here, I'm Rebecca and I lost 100 pounds in 11 months without dieting. I wanted to talk about something I haven't seen a lot of online, which is what it's like to be dating before and after losing 100 pounds. Because in my experience, it is a wild ride. I hope you're watching this with headphones on because honestly, I'm scared my family is gonna hear me filming this. So since I'm gonna be spilling the tea, I have my trusty water. I don't really like tea, to be honest. If you're a water over tea girl, let me know. Now let's get into the video. So this is what I looked like in my first year of university. I went into university at around 190 pounds in 2018. And this happened because I was emotionally eating throughout high school, so I kept gaining weight. As a reference, in grade 10, I was about 115 pounds. By the end of my first year, I was around over 200 pounds. I remember downloading dating apps, wanting to get into the dating scene because my roommates were doing it after also moving away from home and having more freedom. I was honestly feeling absolutely terrible about myself. I couldn't stop emotional eating still, and I couldn't for the life of me love myself. I figured I could meet a guy, and if he found me attractive, then I would also find me attractive. That backfired. There was a guy I liked at the time, and I told my friend about it, and he had said that if I just started going to the gym, maybe I would have a chance with him. At that moment, I already wasn't in a great place in terms of my self-confidence, so I let that comment torture me because I figured I wasn't good enough to have someone special in my life like that. So throughout that time, I watched my friends go out on dates, get into relationships, and although I was really happy for them, I also felt really left out. And I kept thinking of myself as the ugly friend. Fast forward to my second year of university, the world shut down because of COVID, and my classes moved online, so I moved back home. I fell even deeper into the dark hole that is emotional eating because I was using it as a crutch to deal with not only what I was dealing with internally, but all the extra stress that the pandemic caused. And I emotionally ate for the next year. I didn't leave the house, I didn't talk to my friends, and I could barely get out of bed some days. Then on a random morning, I woke up one day and I looked in the mirror, and the girl looking back at me was 265 pounds. For the first time in my adult life, I took ownership of my appearance. I wasn't wishing I looked different, I wasn't looking for what I could fix, and I wasn't looking away. I recognized the signs of shock in my facial features, fear in my eyes, and my skin was evidence of how much time had passed of me worrying and stressing and being anxious with the worry lines I saw on my forehead. It was my wake-up call because I realized if I kept living this way, I was gonna wake up 10 years later and be even heavier and unhappier than I was in that moment, with my life having passed me by. If my life were a movie, now would be the time where I would say, cue the motivational fitness montage where you see me going to the gym, working out, eating right, and losing a lot of weight. But that's not reality. That day I remember also eating my feelings. But what happened was that moment planted a seed of clarity in my mind that I just couldn't shake. In June 2021, when my stepmom told me that she wanted to start losing her baby weight, I said 6 words that changed my life forever. Okay, I'll do it with you. From then on, I started my weight loss journey, and I was 25 pounds lighter when I moved back to my university apartment in September 2021. So here's a picture of me and my stepmom on moving day. If you want to hear the full story about how I lost the weight, then I'm going to put the link in the description for that video. Okay, so now we're in December of 2021. I'm still losing weight, but I'm at 211 pounds when I started at 265. So I was feeling really good. I was running, I was doing all my meal prep, and I got some new clothes. I started going out to parties and bars with my friends, and things were going well. But I still had that thought in the back of my mind that, it would be nice to have a boyfriend. And I would go out to these places with my friends. I would see them getting asked out by guys in front of me. And I thought to myself, wow, I lost all this weight and I still feel like I'm the ugly friend. But I decided I was gonna download Bumble so I could put myself out there and try to meet new guys. And I met a guy. We're gonna call him Bruce. So Bruce was the first guy that was interested in me romantically since after I put on the weight. And let me tell you, I was over the moon to have someone in my life like that. So we met on Bumble, but we didn't actually meet up in person. And you're gonna say, okay, he's a catfish. No, we FaceTimed, we were using Snapchat, and we talked on the phone quite often. But we had never met up before. So this went on for almost 2 months. And finally, I was like, when are we gonna meet up? When are we gonna hang out? Like, what are your intentions with me? Because I had never had any experience in situations like this. And I was telling my friends a little bit about what was going on, but I wasn't telling them enough for them to be like, oh my goodness, this is really weird. So he eventually told me in his own words that he was emotionally immature and he wanted me to wait until he felt ready to go out with me. And my heart broke. I had real feelings for him, but instead of blaming myself, my looks, my weight, I realized that this wasn't right because someone that was making me feel like this wasn't worth my time or energy. And I ended it. So by the end of May, I was done school for the year, I had lost 100 pounds, and I had ran my first marathon. I wasn't fully confident yet. I like to describe this period as I had glimpses of confidence. So I was confident in some moments, but then I still was very unsure of myself, and I was still kind of coming into myself as a person and my new body. And I decided that this was the perfect time to start dating again. Okay, now we're gonna talk about Ezra. So I had downloaded the dating apps again, and I met this guy, Ezra. We met up for a date. He didn't offer to pay for my coffee, but I was like, okay, whatever, you know, it's just the first date. He doesn't owe me anything. Keep in mind, this is the first date I've gone on. I never went out with Bruce, and I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what the rules are. I didn't know how to transition from going on dates with one guy to getting into a relationship. I knew nothing. Okay, I know this is very personal, but it is relevant to the story to say this. I did have a boyfriend when I was in high school, and that was the first time that I was intimate. But after him, there wasn't really anyone else after because I just kept putting on weight and not feeling great about myself. Ezra and I had got close, but we were never intimate with each other, but he wanted to be. I just didn't feel ready yet. I was looking for something a little bit more. He just kind of wanted one thing from me. As soon as I made it clear he wasn't going to be getting that from me because I had wanted more, he wasn't interested in hanging out with me at all. So that ended. And that really sucked. But I was going on my trip to Greece with my friends in July. So I went on this trip and I went crazy. When I say crazy, I just mean I was going out every night. I was meeting new people. I was trying new things. Your girl went scuba diving, okay? It was really fun, right? I would have never done that before. So I come home with all these new experiences and I have a whole new level of confidence. So this is September 2022. I'm back to school and I met this guy. And we're gonna call him Edward. This guy, I was really, really, really attracted. I mean, not only did I think he was amazing looking, he was so confident. He was also significantly older. I was 22, he was 28, and he has a big following on social media and he has a really crazy career on the side. He's so motivated, successful. But this was the first time I went out with someone where we had these sparks between us. We were just talking for our date and the conversation was great. We were laughing and we ended up leaving when the bar closed. So obviously it was a really good date. And went back to his place, he kissed me, and I was like, oh my goodness, I need to see him again. So he messaged me right away after I left. He was like, I need to see you again. And you know, we saw each other a few times. He made it clear he didn't want anything serious. And I was like, okay, you know what, that's fine. I have a lot going on too. I don't necessarily need to get into a serious relationship right now. I just know I want to see him again. So I lied to myself because obviously, just by the way I'm describing him, you can tell that I really liked him. So that was silly of me. And I ended up deciding that this was going to be the guy that I was intimate with for the first time in my adult life. So yeah, that happened. I didn't sleep over. I Ubered home. The next day, he didn't message me. And then the next day, he also didn't message me. I think it was a few days later where he said, I'm sorry, I feel like I'm being terrible right now. You know, I just have so much going on. Like, how are you doing? Or something like that. My friends knew what was going on. And I was telling them, okay, I need to be playing hard to get here. Your girl had a little bit more experience. I thought that there was still, you know, a chance that I was gonna keep seeing him. I play hard to get and he ends up never messaging me. If a guy treats you like that, he obviously does not care at all, so move on. The issue with this, and the reason why it kind of made me really upset afterwards, is because the fact that we were intimate and he picked that moment to kind of ghost me, and you know, it was also the first guy that saw me naked since I had gained the weight and lost it. So I internalized this rejection and it felt like he wasn't attracted to me. He didn't think I was pretty, because if he did, then maybe he would have at least wanted to see me again, even if he didn't want a relationship. So after this happened, I was seeing this other guy named Ethan. We'll call him Ethan. So Ethan and I went on a couple dates. These dates were amazing. We did have a lot in common. I was in my party girl era. I was still crushing it at school. My grades were amazing. I took it very seriously. I was still running, but your girl was going out, okay? I lived my whole life not going anywhere, not seeing things. So once I got back from Europe, I like to go out and I like to have a good time. And this guy matched my energy and things were going well, but I was kind of traumatized from my experience with Edward because I wasn't ready to be intimate with someone again in that way. Being intimate was such a big deal to me because I was so unsure about my body again, right? After Edward had ghosted me, after I had been intimate with him, and I was nervous to do that again because I was scared Ethan was gonna do the same thing. I had voiced that to Ethan. He wanted to take things to the next level physically, and I just really didn't want to. So I ended it with him. Then I took a break from dating again. I was focusing on school and I was training for marathon number 2. So I was busy. I was 115 pounds down. So with my new confidence, feeling great, I'm a new girl. And I start dating again because I have this new approach. I wasn't looking for anything specific this time. I wasn't trying to get a boyfriend. I was just living my life. I was living my best life. And I meet this guy that we are going to call Easton. So Easton and I were talking for a week or two, and he was messaging me every day. We had a really good conversation. I was also working on starting my business, and I even started modeling. It just felt good. So when we meet up, it was very clear that we were really into each other on the first date. There was a lot of chemistry. So before we went on this date though, he had told me that he was gonna be going on a trip for a few weeks, and right after the date, he messaged me and he was like, I want to see you again. I wanted to see him again too. And I was like, well, it's too bad you're going on your trip. He was leaving right after, like very soon after our date, but he was like, I'm gonna send you pictures and we're gonna stay in touch, and then when I come back, we're going to go out and we'll see each other. So I'm like, okay, fine. It's not like I'm considering this as my only option, although I was like, oh my gosh, this is really annoying. I just met him and now he wants to just kind of talk and I have to wait for him to get back. But at the same time, I was super busy. I was starting my business. I was preparing for final season at school. I was gonna be graduating in June, so I had to get ready. I was like, okay, whatever. It's not like I have time to be seeing someone anyway. I'll just talk to him and then we'll see what happens when he gets back. So he goes, we start talking, and this guy is messaging me every single day, guys. Literally every single day. He is super, engaging. We're talking about all these things. We're really getting to know each other and we're really connecting. As we're getting to know each other, I'm telling him about my life. He's like, oh, I want to go out with you. I want to meet your friends. Like, we'll all go out together. He's saying all these things. He's making all these grand promises. He's telling me he wants to, after I run my 3rd marathon, he wants me to come over and he'll take care of me, all this stuff. And this is the first time a guy has made these types of promises to me that I have really wanted him to. I was really interested in him and he was kind of saying all the right things. So this goes on, guys, and we are talking all the time and I'm thinking about him a lot. He starts becoming a part of my life because I'm not seeing him, but we are talking. Start planning what we're gonna do when he gets back. He knew I love the color pink, right? So he was like, I'm gonna wear a pink shirt for you. And I was like, yeah, we should both wear pink. So he gets back, we're texting. I'm so happy that he's back in town. He even was kind of like, oh, are you in the area? Maybe we can see each other for a sec. So the next date comes, we're gonna be going out that evening and I'm on my way to work. He messages me that he's not feeling well. I'm like, oh my goodness, what happened? He's like, I just woke up, I'm not feeling great. And in my head, oh my goodness, this is just a game. I am being played right now because he didn't say anything about rescheduling. If he really liked me, he would have said, oh my goodness, I woke up, I'm not feeling great, I'm so sorry, I don't want to get you sick, and I want us to both be able to enjoy our date, so let's reschedule. And I would have totally understood. And I said, are you actually not feeling well or you just don't want to see me? He never responded. After work, cry my eyes out. I go home and I'm so sad that night. And then the next day, I was shocked that he didn't respond. So I did what a lot of girls in my situation would. I posted a thirst trap on Instagram. I'm not proud of it, but I wanted to see if he was online. So I post it and I check. Like, not even 5 minutes after posting, he's looking at my story. Has he answered my message? No. So before he even responds, I message him back a second time. Yes, a second time. How humiliating. And I said, you know what? You don't even need to say anything. I actually saw him a few weeks later when I was on a date with this other guy who's actually kind of well known. And when I see him, we actually walk past each other on the street. He was with his friends, I was with my date, and we make eye contact, and he goes like laughing, like sneering at me kind of. And that was it, whatever. A few weeks after this happened, we actually reconnected, me and Easton, and that was silly on my part. I don't know what I was thinking. He actually was just kind of asking me about like my modeling, and we got into talking, and he asked me for another chance, and I was like, listen, my trust with you is completely broken. He had come up with a story to explain what happened, and I believed it. So I give him another chance. He did ask me out. He was like, I'm free today, let's hang out. I'm like, okay, what time, blah, blah, blah. He never responds. Sorry, my phone died. So I basically fell for all that all over again, which is really embarrassing. Honestly, retelling this story is really embarrassing. But you live and you learn, and I definitely feel like I learned a lot. So that brings us up to date, and I am just focusing on myself right now. One thing I learned through all of this is that I am okay just on my own, and I need to be comfortable being by myself. Another person in my life would be amazing, but at the same time, I am happy with my own company. I have so many amazing friends and family that love and support me. And just because I'm alone doesn't mean I have to be lonely. I did buy myself this pretty ring. It's in one of my shorts. I bought it just to symbolize my commitment to loving myself and being enough for myself. So I do go on a lot of dates alone now, and I love it. If you're still watching, thank you. And write in the comments what your dream date to go on by yourself would be. And I'm gonna pick a comment and go on this date by myself, and I'm gonna vlog it so that you can watch it while you do it yourself. If you're not already subscribed, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any more of my future videos.